Hello students, I welcome you all for costing methods and techniques class. In previous class, we had started with your third unit, that is process costing, and we have seen theory part as well as one small problem we had seen, right? So today we are going to see another problem on process costing, and like if three processes if they're asking, then it will be for 15 marks. If one or two if they ask, then it will be for 5 marks. Okay, now here this problem is of 15 marks. Here is the problem. A product passes through three processes, namely A, B and C. The normal wastage of each process is as follows. Process A, 10% on input. Process B, 20% on input. Process C, 25% on input. Wastage of process A was sold at rupees 2 per unit. That of process B at rupees 4 per unit, and that of process C at 5 per unit. 500 units at rupees 4 per unit were introduced in process A. The other expenses were as follows. Sundry materials. Now total is 5,625. For process A, 2,600, 2,000, 1,025. So like this, these expenses are distributed to process A, B and C, as well as the total amount is given. But related to production overheads, only the total amount is given. But this should be distributed in what ratio? That is given below this. That is, production overheads are absorbed as a percentage of direct wages. So it is according to direct wages. There is no stock or work in progress in any process. So this is what is the problem. Now as they have given us information related to three processes, so three different process account has to be prepared for process A, process B and process C. Now as actual output is given in the problem, when actual output is given, remember always whether there will be abnormal loss or there will be abnormal gain. So that we will have to calculate. Now this depends on normal output. So that we are going to see in the later part. So first we will prepare process A account. Okay. Now next line. Write down process A account, and these many are the columns you need to prepare. Particulars, quantity, rate, amount. Particulars, quantity, rate and amount, debit as well as credit side. Okay, now debit side we are going to show all the direct expenses. Now go through the problem. Sundry materials is given, so that we are going to show. So now as we are preparing process A account, so we need to concentrate only on this column. Sundry materials 2,600, debit side 2. Now sundry materials Now before entering sundry materials, first we need to show the output. Okay. This we will take it to the next. Now remember always first we need to take input. Okay, now input is, just see here, 500 units at rupees 4 per unit were introduced in process A, right? So materials, so here we can take only materials. Okay, quantity is 500 and the rate is 4 and amount is 2,000. Okay, first we need to take whatever input they have given, then we will take other expenses. Other expenses include sundry materials 2600. Okay, then they have given direct wages. Direct wages. Okay, now direct wages amount is 2250. Okay, now next is production overhead. So for production overheads, here they have given us some information. Production overheads are absorbed as a percentage of direct wages as the total amount is same. So whatever for process A we have, same thing we will take for production overheads. To production overheads. Okay, amount is same 2250. Okay, yes. Now we have normal loss which is given here. For process A, it is 10% on input. So we will have one working note. So first working note is normal loss. It is 10% on input. Input is 500 into 10%. Okay, so which will be equal to 50. 50 units. Okay, now come to the credit side of process A. By normal loss. Normal loss in bracket you can write note number 1. Okay, so quantity is 50. Okay, now realizable value is given. So for process A it is 2 per unit. So here rate 2 and amount is 100. Okay, now when they have given us actual output, it means there is abnormal loss or abnormal gain. Understanding? Okay, so for before finding out abnormal gain or abnormal loss, we need to find out normal output. Okay, so normal output formula is what? Input minus normal loss. Now input is 500 units and normal loss is 50 units. Right? It means it is 450 units. Right? Okay. Now actual output for process A. Go through the problem. Now it is again 450 units. 450 units. As normal output as well as actual output. Normal output and actual output is same. Okay, so there is no abnormal loss or abnormal gain. So whatever difference between normal loss and normal output and actual output we get, so either there will be gain or loss. If actual output is more than the normal output, okay, then it means there is a gain. If actual output is less than normal output, it means there is abnormal loss. So as here there is like normal output as well as actual output is same, so there is no abnormal loss or gain, so that will be nil. Okay, now next we need to find out cost per unit. So now total cost, it means we need to close this. Okay, now close this, it will be 9100 and here it is 500. 500, 9100. Okay, yes. Now, whatever balance we get, that will be transferred to process B account. So you can write here transferred to process B account. Okay, now find out the difference. Here it is 450. Total cost is 9100 minus realizable value of normal loss is 100. Okay, then divided by input is 500 minus normal loss is 50. Right? So which will be equal to rupees 20. Rupees 20. Right? Here also cost per unit 20 and this is 9,000. Right? Hope so everybody has understood this. Now same thing we need to calculate for process B as well. Now process B account. Same columns. Now whatever output of process A is there, that will be transferred to process B as input. So which will be taken on the debit side to process A account. Process A account. Okay, quantity is 450 and the rate is 20 and the amount is 9,000. So whatever output we got, that will be transferred to process B on the debit side, which will be treated as input. Okay, now whatever expenses they have given, that we need to consider. So first here they have given us sundry materials. Okay, and the amount is 2000. Next they have given us direct wages. Direct wages amount is 3680. Next they have given us production overheads. Amount will be the same because it is percentage of direct wages. As the amount is same, we are keeping it same. Okay, now next thing is we need to calculate normal loss. Okay, and the normal loss is, go through the problem, 20% on input. Okay, input is 450 units for process B. 450 units into 20%, which will be equal to 90 units. Which will be equal to 90 units. Okay, now here by normal loss, in bracket you can write note number 1. Okay, quantity is 90 and the rate is already given in the problem, that is 4 per unit. So 90 into 4, 360. Okay, now again actual output is given in the problem. So we need to find out whether there is abnormal loss or gain. Now to find out abnormal loss or gain, first we need to know how much is normal output. Now formula to find out normal output is input minus normal loss. Okay, now which is equal to, it is 450 minus normal loss is 90. Right? Hope so everybody is understanding. So that will be 360 units. Right? Yes. Now go through the problem and just check how much is actual output for process B. So it is 340 units. As there is difference, it means there is abnormal loss or gain. Now abnormal loss or gain formula is actual output minus normal output, which will be equal to, now actual output as per the problem, it is 340 units. Okay, minus normal output as per our second working note, it is 360 units, right? It means actual output is less than the normal output. Now when actual output is less than the normal output, there will be abnormal loss of 20 units. Understanding? Hope so everybody has understood. If actual output is less than the normal output, then there will be abnormal loss. Here you can write abnormal loss. Suppose if actual output is more than the normal output, it means there will be abnormal gain. Now in this problem there is abnormal loss. Now in working note I have given in the previous video that either it is abnormal loss or abnormal gain. That has to be calculated on cost per unit. It should be calculated on cost per unit. Okay, now cost per unit we need to find out. So for that, take down one more working note, cost per unit. And the formula is total cost minus realizable value of normal loss divided by input minus normal loss. So this is what is the formula to find out cost per unit. Okay, now we are not going to close this account. Okay, just roughly we need to find out how much is the total cost of process B. Okay, so total cost of process B is 18,360. Roughly we are closing it, 18,360 minus realizable value of normal loss is 360. Okay, now that is divided by okay, now divided by input is 450 and the normal loss is 90 units. Okay, now which will be equal to rupees 50. Okay, now this is valued at cost, abnormal loss or gain will be valued at cost per unit. If there is abnormal loss, we are going to take it on the credit side of process account. That is by abnormal loss. Okay, in bracket note number 4. Okay, now abnormal loss is 20 units and the rate we have calculated, that is 50 rupees. That is 1000. Okay, now close this. It is 450 and here it is 18,360. Now whatever balance we get, that will be transferred to process C account. Now this will be input for process C. Okay, now find out the difference. It is 340. Here already we have calculated 50 and the amount is 17,000. Okay, hope so. Everybody has understood this. Okay, now same thing we are going to calculate for process C. Okay, now next line, take down process C account. Again same columns. Now output of process B will be input for process C. So that we are going to show it on the debit side to process B account. Okay, so that is 340, rate is 50, the amount is 17,000. Hope so everybody is understanding. Okay, now again whatever expenses they have given, that we are going to show it on the debit side. Now next is to sundry materials. Sundry materials amount is 1025. Next is to direct wages, amount is 1400. And next is to production overheads, that also is same, 1400. Okay, now again there is normal loss for process C. So the normal loss is 25% on input. Okay, input is 340 units into 25%. So normal loss is 85 units. 85 units. Okay, now this is having realizable value. So this we are going to show it on the credit side of process account by normal loss in bracket note number 1. So 85, quantity is 85 and the rate realizable value is given 5 per unit, that is 425. Okay, yes. Now again here they have given us actual output. It means there is abnormal loss or gain. So again for that first we are going to find out normal output. Now normal output formula is input minus normal loss. Okay, so input is 340 units minus normal loss is 85 units. 85 units. Okay, it means normal output is 255 units. Okay, now go through the problem, check actual output. It is 270. So here you can write 270 units. Okay, now find out abnormal loss or gain. So the formula is what? Actual output minus normal output. Actual output minus normal output. Okay, yes. Now actual output is given in the problem 270 units minus normal output we have calculated 255 units. Now just see whether there is abnormal loss or gain. Now actual output is more than the normal output. It means there is gain. There is abnormal gain of 15 units. Abnormal gain of 15 units. Now either it is abnormal loss or abnormal gain. It has to be calculated on cost per unit. Okay. Now again roughly we need to close the account to find out cost per unit. Write down the formula. Cost per unit is equals to total cost minus realizable value of normal loss divided by input minus normal loss. Okay, roughly we need to close it. So total cost is 20,825. Okay, minus realizable value of normal loss is 425 minus 425. Okay, divided by input is 340 minus normal loss is 85. Now which is equals to rupees 80. Rupees 80. Now if it is normal abnormal loss, we are going to take it on the credit side. If it is abnormal gain, then we are going to show it on the debit side. To abnormal gain, in bracket you can write note number 4. Okay. Now units is 15, rate is 80, and the amount is 1,200. It is 1,200. Okay. Yes. Now we are going to close this. Now the units will be 355 and here it is 22,025. It is 22,025. Now whatever balance we get, which will be transferred to finished goods account. Sometimes in the problem they may ask us to prepare finished goods account also. So that also we need to prepare. Okay, in this problem they have not asked. So we are not going to prepare that. So 270 and the rate is 80 and here it is 21,600. 21,600. Okay. Yeah. Like this we are going to prepare. It means 3 times we will be preparing process account. So in many problems there might be 4 process, 3 process, 2 process depending on the problem what information they have given. Based on that we are going to calculate this. Okay, hope so this problem is clear to everyone. In my next class again we will be solving another problem on process costing itself. Okay, please go through the problem, solve it. Okay, so if there are any doubts you can ask. Okay, so see you in next video.